Imagine you could step inside the minds of Canada's healthcare leaders, glimpse their greatest fears, strongest drivers, and what makes them tick. Welcome to Healthcare Changemakers, a podcast where we talk to leaders about the joys and challenges of driving change and working with partners to create the safest healthcare system.
Hello, listeners. It's Philip D'Souza here from HEROC, and we have a special episode of Healthcare Changemakers today with our CEO, Catherine Gaulton. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
And we're so lucky, actually. There's a bunch of milestones with this particular episode. One, this is our 50th episode. Can you believe it, Catherine? Like 50 episodes.
Wow. Well, I was thinking of just what monumental year it is for HEROC, but that's also a great achievement.
That's the other milestone. Thank you for segueing to that. Is that this year also marks HEROC's 35th year in operation? So that's a fantastic milestone as well.
Yes, it is, and really great proof of concept. And as you know, if we hadn't been thinking that it was the right thing to do before, this last 3 years have really proven is the ultimate proof of concept for HEROC. And so it's good. It's good we're around.
Definitely. And last night we had a meeting yesterday, and I was with Catherine, and she also told me that this is a milestone for her personally. I think you told me it's your 35th anniversary this year with your husband, David.
I know, all the stars align. Years married, years that HEROC has been around. It was my 35th wedding anniversary just in November.
Oh, congratulations! And it's great. You got married the year HEROC was born.
I know. Isn't that unreal? Yeah, who knew? Who knew at the time? I don't know that I knew that insurance existed as a future concept. Being a 25 or so year old person, I don't think I had thought about insurance just yet. So.
Well, it's a great year of milestones, and so let's get to it, Catherine.
Okay.
Can you share a story about a subscriber interaction this year that made you walk away smiling?
Yeah, look, me, there are always 12 stories to every question, because I think I have this, I have and enjoy a great relationship with subscribers, but being in Newfoundland, interesting, right? In Newfoundland, there for partnership meetings with our subscribers, and at the same time, my father's in the hospital. In the place where had just been in the hospital in the place where we're meeting, and hearing. They really are too many stories, but the number of times that something from HEROC had really helped. And I'll, a few examples, but I mean, I'll do them quickly. One, of hearing that we had people, seniors in long-term care who needed help from the hospital in their environment very quickly. And this conversation about that risk would normally mean having an agreement, having the insurance and the indemnifications figured out, and just the ability to proceed to take care of seniors at the same time as not ignoring risk, not looking at what needed to be taken care of in that environment, particularly around clarity, around who's doing what, but that you can do all of that and look after risk while at the same time just really being very responsive and saying, well, what trumps? And what trumps, of course, is care of seniors. And I think in this instance, and so just the ability to respond to that and to then get the feedback from that was huge. But look, we went to Yukon this year, and great stories there, and Edmonton, and and Labrador, and St. John's, and Nova Scotia last week with the subscriber there. So anyway, take the whole time. I'm going to stop, but there are fantastic stories. But the stories that say, and there are lots of them, you allowed us to get to care of people, make me just smile. They make me grin every day.
Oh, that's fantastic to hear. That's great. And and we often ask subscriber leaders, Catherine, what keeps them up at night? So I guess, taking all those positive stories, interactions you've had this year, what were two or three things for you that kind of kept you up at night?
Yeah, and so look, I'll say if it keeps our subscribers up, it keeps me up. Very driven in my career, and I think most Hirok people, if not all Hirok people, come from the same place about truly making a difference and caring about those that we ultimately serve, which means taking care of people who are serving them. So our frontline people, absolutely, those who have direct interface with patients, but also leaders, because I think they have to care about everybody else, and sometimes it's not really clear who's in the business of caring about them. And so I worry about that. I worry about the extent that you get a lot of fatigue in looking after the interests of everyone else, and while we need everybody working in this system, and that includes leaders. So when I stay, if I wake up at night, I think about whether we're doing enough on that side, whether we're looking after leaders, because there'll be I don't know, there's one province that called leaders the clipboard crew, and it was so disrespectful. And this is years ago, thank goodness. I hope nobody's in this place anymore. But the compassion and strength of our leaders in the system is absolutely integral to how it is we then deliver on what we need to for patients. And so I worry that we don't focus there enough, and then we need to start doing that the next day, and that's how I don't wake up the next night. So
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree. Ensuring that leaders are supported and the many challenges that they face, that they're equipped, and that's so critical. I absolutely agree with you. So, Hirok is launching a renewed strategic plan just January, building on the amazing plan that you, our subscribers, helped us create from 2020 to now. So, what can subscribers expect to see as the central points of focus?
yeah, so you need to think about what's your core, and that your core continues throughout your strategic plan. And so I mean that as uh, pieces of work that we do every day, but the principle base that we operate from. So the principle of really being a critical part and a critical support for how our subscribers deliver on patient safety, on quality of care, will remain an absolute cornerstone. We know that a lot of that this year will need to be focused around how we're supporting our health human resources, how we're appropriately deploying them. Likewise, the focus on service. Lots of exciting stuff. A great program of education for boards. A risk residency program that will continue to go. A provider interface that will make it easier for our subscribers to get their own information, to participate in education programs. Those will all really be launched this year. And I'll say, in the stream of thinking about looking after people, ensuring that they are supported and are challenged, so that they're excited about their careers, that's also a stream. So looking after our people, because we know they're looking after or supporting our subscribers, is really crucial. So we have a bit of a focus on that. But I think subscribers will see a focus on more direct supports, on actioning patient safety and looking at the science of implementation of patient safety. And frankly, we'll need to hear a lot more from subscribers about how our support in relation to health human resource shows itself.
So, on top of everything else we've just talked about, some of you may not be aware, but that a small dedicated team from both HIROC and the Ontario Hospital Association, the OHA, have also launched a brand new startup called Collaborative Benefits, this year. So, why don't you tell listeners a little bit about this very unique initiative?
Absolutely. So this is under our company, Hirok Management Limited. about 4 years ago now, the OHA are really close partners for our Ontario work. Did some work to think about what was the most beneficial way. So hired and surveyed, did lots of discovery around some of the issues that we were seeing in delivery of human health benefits for, so health and dental, long-term disability, and life as the core ones, and a bit of a cycle of increasing cost, of course, without necessarily having an improvement in the overall benefit structure, and then a cycle of negotiation, getting good rates, and then having that not be sustainable necessarily over the course of contracts or over the course of time. And so subscribers in the case of Hurock Management Limited and members in the case of the OHA had asked us to work together to try and develop out a program. A lot of work has been done, lots of data gathering. And of course, with the pandemic coming in the midst of all of this, some delay in really getting to this. So we're really thrilled that we have launched a separate federally incorporated company to manage this program. We were at the crux point of really determining where the current interest level is for this, and it's very strong, and then going to market to get the best program that we can for those participants. So we're very excited about that. It's a bit off the stream of what we've been doing as work, but yet it's entirely in the stream. In that our work, of course, is to do what we can for people, not-for-profit entities that are delivering on healthcare in this country. And if that means supporting them in benefits which are for our people, then it's not really off course. It's just a little jog. And so big work, but a little jog. So we're very excited about that.
Definitely more than a little jog.
But this is how our lives go, and it's the exciting thing about it. And I talk about challenge for people and for systems, and I think it's those pieces and innovation are really the fuel of what, and having a principle that we're searching, and a purpose we're searching to achieve is so innovation and change for a purpose is, I think, crucial to how we deliver on this system, but also how we're fulfilled in our lives.
Oh, absolutely. I just think back to how Hurock even started 35 years ago. That was kind of the unheard of thing, like a reciprocal for healthcare organizations. And when I tell people, oh, we're working, leading and working to create this new startup, they're like, what? Like a company, that's true innovation. Like 35 years later, still innovating, still thinking outside the box, still doing something like that others would not have even put on their bingo card that Hurock and OHA was starting a startup in its 35th year.
It's true. Like I was having a conversation with Greg King, who's been with Hurock for so many years, and so therefore is a big keeper of our history. And we were talking about Hurock's tough year financially, obviously, but with where investments have gone because of all the things, the market, inflation, the war in Ukraine, and so we're you could, and yet we're of course on this really fantastically stable financial path. And we were talking about, what were the financial underpinnings in 1986? And I'll tell you, you'd run for the hills, like you really would. And yet, this group of people, had the vision to say it actually will be great, and it will address the needs of so many people in Ontario at the time, and so many institutions in Ontario, and now beyond. So I agree. It's scary. It looks massive, and of course it is. All of these things are, but with the benefit of retrospect, in which we have for Hurock, it's so you're so happy that people were willing to take a chance. It's great.
100%. It makes me. It definitely warms my heart too.
Yeah.
I'm making a slight pivot to that with respect to Hurock. This year, Hurock is named again a top GTA employer, and this is our 7th year in a row. So, how does that make you feel?
So look, it makes me feel great. I think this is a phenomenal place to work. I think we attract just amazing people. We keep amazing people who have been with us for a very long time, and in some ways, I think you could say, well, okay, we keep doing that because we're great. Well, of course we are, but I think we keep doing that because we actually don't rest on our laurels. So I think the work we've been doing this year around always, but kind of stepped up this year around flexibility, around work-life balance, around equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging, um, are our evidence that we're still listening. I'm as excited about the fact that I think 98% response to our engagement survey for our employees. I think that means we'll find great things that we can improve on. It means we will hear great things, but it also means that we have people who care about where they work. And, that's huge. That is just huge. And so I think that translates then into being top employers and things. But I think the commitment to always be thinking about how you can improve is marvelous. And we have fantastic people. We have a big committee of people. We made the committee almost twice the size we intended for our EDIB committee because so many people were interested in making a difference. And you don't let that commitment go. So we made a bigger committee. I'm support for the committee, and frankly, I'm quite unnecessary as the CEO because the leaders of that from our own staff are just doing a phenomenal job. Just an absolutely phenomenal job. So I'm proud of a lot of things on that front.
No, absolutely. And the Hero culture is just so unique. I always tell people about it. I've been a Hero now 13 years and it hasn't changed. It's still the same. And you too, Catherine, you make the culture so unique. And those you may not know, but whenever there's a staff member at Hero, for example, who has a new baby, Catherine goes and pulls out her knitting gear and she knits a really, sweet toque. And just yesterday, one of the employees messaged me and showed me the toque, and they said, "Oh, it still fits my son. That Catherine made this." So it's stuff like that really, I know people might think, "Oh, but it adds to the culture because it's that part of our values of caring and respect, and it's just an amazing feeling.
No, it's a phenomenal place to work. And look, people will say this woman's just desperate for her grandchildren, so no pressure for my sons who hear this. But I think it feels warm to have people to do things for, frankly, and to do things for kids or whatever it is that you're doing in a day. It's I don't know. It's fulfilling, I think, to do your small thing because to think that someone knows you've been thinking of them. I think that's really what it's all about. The tubes might fall apart. I don't know, but the sense that you're thinking about them.
I'll put you on the hot seat for some questions now. Personally, Catherine, if you had to give a 40-minute presentation on anything, it could be anything whatsoever, without preparing, what would your topic be? What would you give a talk on?
I think it would be about patient safety. It's really so near and dear. And I think it brings in so much of what we do. So what we do at Hurock, what I've done in my life, my legal pieces. What it brings in, though, most particularly for me, is that focus on listening. So knowing that patients themselves and their families are actually the best judges of what is right and what is important for people. And then if you translate that, so it just translates into everything, right? You translate if that willingness to say, people actually know. We don't know most about people; they know the most about themselves, and so, and we will learn. So anyway, all of that to say patient safety, but that kind of focus about how we react as people to the systems we're working in, and how we partner with people in their own care and with their families in their own care. would be the talk. And so I'm giving it now, so I'll stop. but so that I think that would be the topic.
I think so too, and it's true. When you joined Hirok, you gave me a talk on patient safety, and it really has helped shape how we communicate with our subscribers and the initiatives we embark on. And just this past year, for example, in October at our Hirok conference, we did a hackathon, which who would have thought we would have done that, where we were asking subscribers for their ways in which, how we can further impact patient safety. And we had like so many subscribers come join, give us these amazing ideas. And it's absolutely what you said. It's adding to our vision of partnering to create the safest healthcare system. And one more thing I must add, a lot of us read. I know I often read lots of books on leadership, and you mentioned leadership before, and they always say like you should do what you love, and it's very clear that you do what you love, and it's rubbed rubbed off on all of us definitely at Hirok.
It makes for a long podcast when you get me going on this. So I guess that's very true. But I don't know. I mean, you went from a 19-year-old nurse to now. This has really been a passion, and look. The interesting thing is, of course, it's a passion for everyone who ever receives healthcare, whoever will, and so there's a lot to keep that passion going for sure.
And so I know you like to read a lot. And so I thought I'd ask you a different kind of interesting question. Out of everything you've read, is there a fictional character that you've come across in your many, many in the books you read that you wish were real?
Definitely, and look, I hope there are actually a lot of real Renee Michel, who is this frumpy concierge in a book called The Elegance of the Hedgehog, and let me, that character puts everything we believe into it. Well, it challenges everything we believe. For example, that you think that that person wouldn't have already lived a very exciting life, would have an exciting life ahead of them, including romance and all those great things, and would be the most compassionate, cranky, or looking to be cranky, but one of the most compassionate characters that I've read about in literature, actually. So, The Elegance of the Hedgehog, please, wonderful book, and that character, at least expected kind of role is fantastic. Really love it.
I love that. And then speaking of things that bring you joy, what's something that always makes you laugh?
I'll say, my children make me laugh. My husband tells the worst puns, and I tell him that I'm not laughing, but I actually am. My kids are two very serious children, and yet when they play music together or sing together, even on a very serious song, it makes me laugh. It's joyous to see people enjoying being together, and so that always does. It always does. Little kids make me laugh. There are stories about Zoom that I tell the story 2 years later, and I still, I've had to turn my camera off, so I can't even tell you, because they are phenomenal. These kids telling what happened in the bathroom, or getting caught in the couch, or whatever it is, or the cat comes and swipes someone on the side of the cheek while they're giving the most serious of presentations. Anyway, lots of things on Zoom make me laugh, but in the norm, a good laugh always, for a good smile, and is my children and my family.
Oh, that's sweet. And what's you may have answered this in your question about your sons playing music and singing. What's something you can't resist over the holidays?
Oh man, we have lobster bisque as our Christmas Eve, December 24th. My mother-in-law's recipe. My husband makes it. It is just to die for. I make pumpkin cheesecake, which I hope my sons would say they cannot resist. But that's mine.
And as we close out this episode, you can. Limiting you with to one word, but you can have an explanation. What's one word you're feeling about 2023?
Absolute optimism. Absolute optimism. I just think this system, of course, massive turmoil now, things impacting little kids, and so much that could make us lose hope, I think, and yet I've been around the system for 35 years or more, and it's resilient, and the people are phenomenal. So I have absolute optimism. Sorry, 800 words for one word, but it is optimism.
No, that's a great way to end off. And I want to thank you, Catherine. I know you're absolutely right. There's just so much going on all around us in the world, and and things that many people are juggling. Staff at Hirok, and we know our subscribers are juggling a lot. And you've been that steady kind of force that has been helping us move forward. And I don't know, I can say, and on our team, and I think everyone at Hirok can say that we really appreciate that, and we really value that, and it's helped us. I know it's helped me. And so thank you, Catherine.
Oh, thank you. And look, I get my fuel from the people I work with, and especially you and your team, Philip. But you really do feel you can accomplish anything when you have that commitment that I see around me every day from Hirok's people. So and then who we see in the system, of course. So lots of fuel for that. So.
Excellent. So let's take that fuel and continue to look forward with optimism. And I want to thank our listeners as well, all our Healthcare Changemakers listeners. A fun fact, we have listeners from over 5 continents who listen to this show. It's amazing.
Thank you for listening. You can hear more episodes of Healthcare Changemakers on our website, hirok.com, and on your favorite podcasting apps. If you like what you hear, please rate us or post a review. Healthcare Changemakers is recorded by Hirok's communications and marketing team and produced by Podfly Productions. Follow us on Twitter at Hirok Group or email us at communications@hirok.com. We'd love to hear from you.